Yesterday, I clicked on a thread in the education forum about Secret Service agent Hickey shooting the president accidentally with his automatic rifle. I don't know why I clicked on this topic. I think this is one of the stupidest theories I've ever heard, and I don't see how anyone can believe it. But I did click on it, and I saw this post here by Margin Rinkowitz, perhaps something like that. And actually, the link there above is from a previous post of his. I think it had been months ago, 7 months later. 7 months earlier. I don't remember why I even clicked on this, but I did, and I'm glad I did. This is what came up. It's a frame from the Bell film, and apparently our person of Polish descent has marked out things of significance to him regarding Hickey shooting his rifle at JFK. Good luck to him proving that there. But I noticed something in this frame from the Bell film that intrigued me. And that's this person here. That looks like Charles Brem. I've come to know Charles Brem from every angle in recent times because I've made videos about where he is at this time. And if that's Charles Brem, he's in the wrong position here. At least according to the Zapruder film, that's not where he's supposed to be. Here he is applauding the president as the president drives by. And he's east of Gene Hill and Marianne Moorman, as you can see Gene Hill on the right. So this is significantly east of the position we apparently see him in this frame of the Bell film. And in the Alkin 6 photo, Charles Brem appears, or at least his hands do, on the extreme right end of the frame. And Alkins is taking this photo to the east of Alkins. So Charles Brem is east of Alkins, according to the Alkin 6 photo. But in this frame of the Bell film, if that's Charles Brem, he seems to actually be west of Alkins, because Alkins isn't even in the frame here. He's off to the right. So this person, who I think is Charles Brem, is actually west of Alkins, even though he appears east of Alkins in the Alkin 6 photo. And looking at the much more film, we can see that Charles Brem is where he seems to be in the Zapruder film and the Alkins film. Again, this is east of where he seems to be in the Bell film. And Charles Brem appears in this same position in the Bronson film. So in all of the photography, Charles Brem appears to be in the same place that he appears to be in the Zapruder film. It's only in this frame of the Bell film where he seems to be in a different place. And so naturally I find that intriguing. But I don't like to depend upon somebody else's frame, a frame somebody else extracted from the film. I like to get that frame from the film myself, so I can be sure that it's not something that the person who is presenting the frame has created somehow. And I went to my version of the Bell film, and this frame was not in my version of the Bell film. I don't think anything nefarious is going on with that, though. My version of the Bell film was created with a screen capture function, and on my slow computer, sometimes my computer can miss a frame in a video. So I went to the 6th floor museum, the source of this version of the video that our Polish friend is using, and through underhanded means I downloaded that video directly. I didn't get it from a screen capture, and so I could see for myself what's what. And this frame actually is in the film. This is the frame as I extracted it from the 6th floor museum video. So this frame is in the film, and that person, whoever he is in the frame. But that person is not in the Zapruder film, at least not in that position. He's not. Here I have frame 360 from the Zapruder film because it's a pretty clear frame on the background, and it shows the expanse between Mr. Franzen and the little boy, and I forget his name, the guy that's sitting on the ground now. And there's nobody in that expanse. Yet in the Bell film, that's where this person appears to be. So this person, who I think is Charles Brem, is not there in the Zapruder film, but he is there in the Bell film. Now this isn't the same precise moment, but it's only a couple of seconds apart. You can see in the Bell film, on the far left is the presidential limousine that has just passed these people. So the positions should not have changed significantly, and there is a person in the Bell film who is not in the Zapruder film, and it's Charles Brem. And while Charles Brem is not in this position in any of the photography other than the Bell film at the time the president goes by, if we compare this position to where he appears in the Bond photo, which is several seconds at least after the president went by, Charles Brem is sitting there with the little boy in about the same position that he is in the Bell film. You can't be certain because of camera angles unless you do some work that I can't do unless I'm in Dealey Plaza. The camera angles can be deceptive, but it looks like he's sitting about the same place where he appears in the Bell film. And the little boy, which is who is holding Jack Franzen's hand, seems to be sitting down now with Charles Brem. And another difference here, or so it seems, is this group of people here, as seen in this frame of the Zapruder film, they seem to appear differently in the Bell film. And while camera angles can be deceptive, this looks to me like that woman who in the Zapruder film above seems to be standing with Jack Franzen. In fact, it almost looks like they're holding hands. In this frame of the Bell film, she doesn't look like she's even with Franzen. She looks like she might be with that other guy there, who I believe is unidentified. And, the angle of the film, you might argue, is deceptive here, because the woman may be standing back significantly from Franzen, and from the other angle, it may look like she's on the other side of the other man there. But I get the feeling that the Zapruder film was probably altered to make it look as though Jack Franzen was standing there with this woman, and perhaps she wasn't his wife. But the story is that he's standing there with his wife and with their son. Of course, I think their son is actually Joey Brem. I guess I'll have to explain that a little here. I've explained it in other videos, and it's a little complex if you're not familiar with the idea. But I think that James Elkins had to be in position, the same position he took his Elkins 6 photo in before the president came by, in order to fake the Elkins 6 photo to give Billy Lovelady an alibi for the time of the shooting. And in order for James Elkins to be there in the same position, that meant somebody else had to be on Houston Street taking his Elkins 4 and 5 photos there. I say that was Charles Brem, and I say that Jack Franzen is tending his son over on Elm Street while Brem is on Houston Street taking Elkins photos, and that Charles Brem, after he takes the Elkins 5 photo, runs back over to Elm Street, somehow not appearing in the Bronson film, and that he comes over to the position we see him in this Bell frame in order to get his son back from Franzen, and then we see him sitting with his son in this Bond photo. If you can follow what I'm saying here. So this means that Charles Brem's hands were added to the Altkin 6 photo from the earlier photo Alkins had taken from the same position, and that makes everything fit perfectly. That is, Charles Brem is standing in this position also when film was taken from the Zapruder position before the president came by. So they don't have to be careful about how they're faking it, because Charles Brem really was photographed in this position, but he was photographed there before the president came by. And the Muchmore film and the Bronson film were both altered after the fact to put Charles Brem where he was supposed to be according to the Zapruder film. So all of that was altered to make Charles Brem seem as if he was in one position when the president came by, when actually he was over where the Bell film shows him to be. And this Bell frame position for Charles Brem also fits with Brem's description given to Mark Lane of how he witnessed the assassination. Going to the last paragraph, the A answer, this is Brem talking, I would say that he was possibly 30 feet away when the first bullet struck, moved a little closer, and was possibly 20 to 25 feet away when the second bullet hit. The second bullet would be, according to Brem's reckoning, the headshot. So what he's saying here is that the president was still approaching him when he was hit in the head. And this cannot be true if Charles Brem is in the position we see him in the Zapruder film. But it can be true if he was in the position we see him in this frame of the Bell film. So this really is where Charles Brem was when the president was shot. He was where we see him in this one frame of the Bell film, and the films were altered to make them consistent with where he's shown in the Zapruder film. So, thanks be to randomness, and thanks be to Marian Rinkowitz, and thanks even to George Hickey and his wacky automatic rifle theory.